Welcome to the Land House YouTube channel. I'm Seth. Today I have the Alpha ESS AP1000. This right here is a power station with a lithium iron phosphate battery and a pure sine wave inverter capable of outputting 1,000 watts or 2,000 watts peak. Let's go ahead and take a look at all of its features. The contents of this package: it has an AC to DC power brick, it has a car charging cable, it has a USB Type-C, a user manual, and the power station itself. All right, let's go ahead and take a tour around this power station. We will come back to the front here in just a moment. Let's move over here to the side. You can see it's got some vents to allow some airflow, and you can see the Alpha ESS logo right there on the side. It's pretty cool. Back here on the back, there are two very large LED panels. Definitely excited to see how bright those are. I like a power station with an LED light on it. Over here, you've got your input cooling fan with the logo on there as well. Now, if I flip this up to the top, you can see it has two 10-watt wireless chargers with a little LED in the middle there. It's got a handle. This thing pops out in this direction, so you can carry this unit. Now, this thing weighs 22 pounds, so it's not terribly heavy. And then if we flip this up here to the bottom, you can see it has these rubber feet and also some information about the power station. Now let's take a look at the front of the power station here. Right here is the input for charging the battery. This is just an LED light to show that the power is coming into this barrel plug. Down here we've got the USB output. So this is the PD 100 watt. It's a USB Type-C, and then a regular USB-C 5 volt 3 amp, and then two USB Type-A 5 volt 2.4 amp. And to turn that on, you press this little button right here. Moving on over here, you've got three AC outlets. Turn them on right here. It's got a little LED to show that they're on or off. This is a 110 volt at 1,000 watts. So we'll be testing that out. Over here, you can turn on the two DC barrel plug output or the 12 volt car port, and so you can open that right there, and we'll also test out that as well. Now for the display, it does have a little protective film across there, and then to turn the unit on, you press this little info button right here, and it will bring that on. So we'll take a look at the display here in just a moment. If I press the info button, it will bring up the display. You've got 0 watts coming in, 0 watts going out. This battery was shipped at 41%, and you can see the little battery marker up here to show that it has that battery percentage. Now if I turn on the display and then turn on the AC, the light is very, very subtle. I don't even know if it'll show up here on this camera, but the light turns on here to say that those are on, and I don't see any watts used, even though the unit is using some power to have the AC turned on. Before I begin testing any of the discharge options on this power station, let's go ahead and test out the three different charging methods. So first is solar, next is car charger, and then we will top this thing off with the AC house power. I have a 100 watt solar panel, which should be able to charge up this power station. And it also comes with some adapters so I can connect to the power station. Okay, immediately the display turned on. We've got 53, 60 watts, 62, 66, 70. Let me show you that real quick. It's a rather cloudy day, so the power just dropped back down. Let me see if I can get a little more sun and show you a higher value here. It's too cloudy to get full watts out of this panel, but you'll have to take my word that I saw 75 for a brief moment. This power station also comes with a car charger. Let's plug that up real quick. Get that in there. Plug this up. Screen pops up immediately. Looks like it's going to top out here at about 98 watts. So this is the car charger. The solar had right at 75 before the clouds covered the sky. Let's go ahead and top off this unit by using the AC to DC power adapter. So this is an external power brick. We'll plug this up to the wall here. The other side goes into the back of the adapter like that. And then I'm going to plug this up here and we'll see what the wattage goes up to. The manual says it can charge at a max of 180 watts. About 182 right there, 183. All right, and you can see the battery jumped up to 42%. I'm gonna let this sit for most likely about 3 hours to be fully charged. One thing I do want to test out, while this unit is charging off of the AC, am I able to use the DC ports, the AC ports, and wireless charging while it's charged? So basically, if I wanted to charge my cell phone and the power unit itself overnight, is that possible? So let's go ahead and double tap the info button, and that turns on the wireless charging up here. Place my phone. There we go. So that's a good thing. We're able to charge a cell phone while it's being charged here. And if I bring you in a little closer, as you can see, the cell phone is using somewhere between 8 and 10 watts on this output. Next, I'm going to try to turn on the AC. All right, that light did come on. Let me plug up this fan to see if it's going to run. Turn it on here. Yes, the fan is working while the unit is charging. We now have approximately 60 watts on the output. Cell phone is being charged and this fan is running. The last thing I want to see is if the USBs will work while the unit is charging. So we'll go ahead and plug one of these in and plug it up to one of my kids' tablets, just like this. Yep, there we go. That is charging as expected. I'm feeling a little bit of heat coming off of this power cord, but not too bad. The unit is now 100% charged. So the fans have stopped running and the display is off, which means this thing is not really using any power once the unit has fully charged, which is nice. So let me go ahead and push this button and I'll show you. It shows 100% on the battery, 0 in, 0 out. So that is good to see. All right, our next step is to do a discharge test to make sure this thing does have the watt hours as advertised. Now that I have the AP1000 fully charged up, let's do a battery discharge test. So I have got a small heater here and I'm gonna go ahead and plug this up to this power station. And we'll be able to see the watts being consumed. I'm gonna keep this on the medium setting because it's gonna be under 1,000 watts. And we will use a stopwatch to see if this thing is going to be consistent with the stated value here. So, all right, let me go ahead and turn on the unit down here. I'll bring you in a bit so you can see what's going on. We are at 100% here on the power station. I'm gonna go ahead and keep the fan at max here and turn this on to the number 2 and then start my stopwatch here. I'm seeing 750 watts right there on the output. So doing some math, if we have 1,036 watt hours divided by 700 and let's do this 46, should take 1.38 hours. I have found that this little heater is pretty consistent throughout the test. So we've got 747 watts. So it should stay right at that value for the full duration of the test. So I will step back out here at about 45 minutes and we will see how well this unit is doing. And I'm going to step back out hopefully and catch the unit turn off here with this heater. So we'll be able to stop the stopwatch and get the time to show that this battery is either right at the 1.38 hours or if it does better or worse. So, all right. I'll be back in just a bit. The test is now 45 minutes in and we have 31% left on this battery. All right, and it is running at about 760 watts, give or take. All right, so I'll be back here in a little while and hopefully we'll be able to see this unit turn off and get a time for that. Okay, everything just shut off here. The fan on this heater is just slowing down. So we've got an hour and 15 minutes is where this cut off. Okay, well that concludes the discharge test of this power station. It is rated at 1036 watt hours. We ran this for an hour and 15 minutes at 762 watts. So we were anticipating about 2 or 3 more minutes, but to be honest, I think that is just fine because there's always a little bit of tolerance in these batteries. So, all right, yes, so discharge test complete. This thing is performing as advertised. I'm gonna go ahead and put a charge back on this, and then we will test out the wireless charging again. We will do more AC stuff and also test out the DC as well. So hopefully we can also max out the AC to see the safeties on this, so it will turn off. And we'll also test out how bright the light is back here. I've given this power station some time to cool off. Let's do a charge and see how long it takes. So it is currently 2:10 in the morning. So let's go ahead and plug this up. And we will see how many hours it takes for a full charge. I noticed that my car tire was low. Let's test out the 12 volt car charger port with an air compressor. So we'll go ahead and turn that on right there. Plug this in. I can hear the fan running on this compressor. So it has started at least. All right, stopped it. So 12 volt, 10 amp. Should be able to run this little thing. There we go, now it's working. Let's do a little bit more testing on the AC side here. So I'm gonna turn on the AC power, plug up this. Let's see if a drill works. $208 watts. Now let's go ahead and plug up a couple of these USB devices. This is just a speaker that I use here in my shop. Turn on the DC there. All right, that is now charging. So that's working well. And then we tap the display twice to turn on the wireless charging. And that kicks on. Very good. All right, so all these can be used at the same time. The DC, the charging, the AC. All right, the last thing I want to do with this unit is trigger the high watts value by using a 1200 watt heater, and then maybe take this drill as well and see if it will turn off because it has been pulling too many watts. Well, the display never showed more than 1050 watts. Let me pull some more tools and see if we can get this to shut off. Okay, this should do it. I've got a little heat applicator. It's 1500 watts. Nope, not yet. How about we plug up both heaters at the same time? All right, you ready? So it seems like instead of, aha, there we go. That triggered it. Let me go ahead and stop this and we'll take a look at the display here. All right, I don't see any kind of warnings on the display. It has simply just turned off the AC here. So if we turn that back on, we should be able to crank this back up again. There we go. And once again, showing 1050 watts. Now let's check out the LED panel on the back of this power station. I'm going to press the button once to turn these on, and you can see how bright it is there. If I press again, it'll step up a little brighter still, and then off. All right, and if I double click, it will do the SOS mode, and then click once on that to turn it off. So as you can see, provides plenty of light if you need to do some work there. Now let's check out the watt value. If I zoom in here a little bit, currently with the highest setting, we are on 3 watts. Let me turn that down to the lower setting. So we got 1 watt,
2 watts, and then 3 watts. So you could take the 1036 watt hours divided by 1, 2, or 3 and see how many hours you could run that light on.
I believe that concludes the Alpha ESS AP1000 power station review. I like this unit a lot. It seems to perform as advertised. Now there are a few things that I do like more about it and a few cons that I have, so let's go ahead and discuss those real quick. Let's talk about the pros real quick, the things that I like about this unit. First of all, the handle flips up and has a nice rubberized grip underneath, and that also is what holds it down into place. So when you're carrying that, it's got a little bit of a grip to it, so definitely a positive. The wireless charging works well. I've had some units where you have to angle the phone, but this one seems to work just fine. And it maintains charge, so you don't have to worry about it cutting off for some unknown reason. Now, if you turn to the front here, it's got buttons on each of these, which you can click and turn on that unit. You don't have to scroll through any menus to find those. The information button is also easy to find there. So for the AC, it's got the ground plug on each one of these, so it's always nice to have 3 different places that you can put your plug into. They are turned kind of backwards from what you normally see, and the idea behind that is if you drop a tool on this, it'll hit ground and not short out that. So I used the 2 USBs over here, had no problems with those. It does have rubberized feet, and that is handy. I did have it over on the gravel, and I had it over here, and it seems to have done well. Now for the charging, whenever this unit is at 100%, it turns off the display and doesn't seem to draw a lot of power. So it's nice that the unit does not continue to run fans or anything whenever it is fully charged. I have a personal preference on these, and that is that they have a good light, and this one does not disappoint. Having these 2 LED panels is really handy and easy access to the button, so you're not having to fumble around in the dark to find that. Now, for a quick list of the cons that I have on this unit. The handle, although it fits nicely in here and is comfortable, it's a little bit hard to get out of its spot. So maybe a little indentation on here would be nice to make that a little easier. The display is pretty basic, and it's really hard to see in the sun. So if that were a bit brighter, it would be nice. Now, the other thing that's hard to see is whether something is on or off. So if I press this button right here, the screen does come on, but there's only this tiny little LED to indicate that it is on or off. And so you basically can't even see if it is on there. And so it'd be nice if that were a lot brighter. It would also be nice if the AC to DC converter was inside of the unit, so you didn't have to have the large power brick. And the only input is this barrel plug right here. There's no Anderson plug, or there's no really way to get the MC4 connectors from solar panels into that. So you have to have adapters. So it would be nice to maybe have different options for input. And lastly, the LED up here for wireless charging is a little bit bigger, but still can be a bit difficult to see, especially if you have this outside. So if you leave on the unit, so AC or DC, the battery will drain, so it's kind of hard to see those if they're on or off. Alpha ESS did send over the AP1000 power station for this review. If you want to learn more information, I have a link in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Seth with the Land to House YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.